Hello, in this video we are going to be talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and I am just going to give you my opinion if I think whether AI can one day become conscious or it cannot become conscious. I am not a scientist and all of this is just going to be my opinion, and reality can be different. We do not know whether AI can become conscious. Nobody knows except of the aliens that have already created AI. They already know if it can be conscious or not. But we humans, for now, we do not know. So this is just going to be a speculation. I will try to approach this in two different possibilities. One of them is that consciousness is just product of the brain, that it's generated by the brain, and the universe is just random material and nothing more. And the other perspective, that consciousness is not generated by the brain, that it is something which brain is picking up, in which sense universe is not random, not just material, but it is in some way spiritual, you know? Because if we want to understand whether AI can become conscious, we would firstly need to understand what consciousness is. And for now, we do not know what is consciousness. On one hand, you have scientists, and they will tell you that consciousness is just product of the brain and nothing more, even though they have no idea how consciousness is generated. And on the other hand, you have, some spiritual gurus, religions, and so on, and they will tell you that you are more than just the brain, and the consciousness is maybe prior to everything, and so on. So I do not know which one of these is the correct answer. I am open-minded to the both possibilities. I am open-minded that consciousness is just brain and nothing more. But equally, I am open-minded to the possibility that the universe is spiritual, and when we die, we survive, and consciousness is more. I am very open-minded to that possibility, but I would say that I am maybe 50-50. Now, how would I define consciousness? I would define consciousness as ability to experience. Ability to experience anything, Some people may maybe disagree, and they may say that consciousness for them means the ability to be aware of yourself, ability to have this inner talk as we are, to have this kind of ego or this personality or, something. But I would say that it is like self-recognition or something, but I wouldn't say that it is consciousness. For me, consciousness is just, as I said, ability to experience even though you are not aware that you are experiencing it, In which sense, most animals are, in my opinion, conscious, Because humans, we are, self-aware, we are aware of ourselves, we are aware of our identity, we have these inner talks and so on. And most animals, probably they don't have this. So most animals, they are not self-aware, but in my opinion, they are still conscious, So for me, it's like if it can feel fear, if it can feel pain, if it can feel hunger, if it can feel anything, it is conscious, So my dog, can he feel pain? Can he feel joy? Can he feel fear? And so on? Yes, he is conscious, There is some kind of aliveness, there is some kind of consciousness which feels, which is able to have some kind of experience. My dog may not be self-aware, he may not recognize himself in the mirror and so on, but he is conscious, in my opinion, you know? And in this way, I would say most mammals are conscious, you know? Can you feel pain? Can tiger feel pain? Can lion feel? Can elephant? Can, you know? If yes, they are conscious, in my opinion. Can fish feel fear? Can fish feel pain? If yes, there is something inside the fish which is experiencing it, you know? It may have no idea, it may have no words like this is pain, this is me, I am trying to avoid the pain, I need to swim fast, I need to keep swimming or something. But there is something that if you are going to cut a fish which is alive, there is something which is going to feel the pain, you know? If there is going to be fish and there is going to be shark, there is something which is going to feel fear, you know? So, yeah. In this sense, for me, even insects, you know, spider. If I am going to, not that I would like to or not that I would do this, but if I am going to get my lighter and I am going to burn spider, probably there is going to be something which is going to feel pain, you know? If spider is going to be chilling on the spider net and I am going to touch the spider net, he is going to run away because there is something which is feeling fear, you know? So for me, in this sense, all animals, you know, including insects, they are conscious. Now, it's harder for me to say whether trees, plants, you know, and so on are conscious, and whether bacteria or one-cell life organisms, they are conscious. But I would say that probably even trees and plants and so on, they are conscious. The more I read about this and more than there are these studies and so on, it suggests that there is, you know, something in this plant kingdom that is in some way maybe conscious, you know? Because trees, for example, if some trees, if there are animals that are chewing the leaves, they will release some chemicals which are going to, you know, make the leaves to taste terrible or to have some kind of poison or something. So there is some kind of defense mechanism in these trees, you know? And for me, it's like if something is defending itself, there is probably some kind of consciousness, you know? We humans, we may have this lack of understanding because we take a consciousness as human experience, you know? But, you know, the cat has experience, but it's completely different than your experience, you know? If someone would give you some kind of a drug that would switch off some neurons or some of this prefrontal cortex or something, and it would shut down the part of your brain which makes you humans, and it would left you to be an animal for 3 hours, you would have the maybe craziest experience of your life. You know, you would forget who you are, and only after the drug would stop, you would be like, what the hell did I experience, and so on. So I think that these animals, the spider, you know, it has some kind of experience, and it's wildly different from human experience. So in this sense, I would say that maybe even these trees and plants, they may have some kind of experience and so on. Now, let's talk about the AI, because this is what the video is about. So yeah, in my opinion, as I said, I think that most life, complex life, has consciousness, and I would say that even bacteria has some kind of consciousness, because it's going somewhere, is running from something, it needs eats, and so on. And when it comes to AI, it seems that for now it is not conscious, And this is something which is very, very important in my opinion, and that's it is not conscious yet, And if there is zero, like complete zero consciousness in AI right now, maybe it's not going to be that easy to create AI which is going to be conscious, Because when it comes to like life, biology, and even when the cells are conscious, if the cells are conscious, it means that consciousness was there since the beginning of life. Maybe these cells, they have like only some kind of proto-consciousness, but probably there is some kind of consciousness in there. So life started with little, but with some consciousness. And it evolved to complex life, and it had more consciousness. And humans, and even more consciousness, But AI, it has been here for a couple of years, not that long. But if you don't have any consciousness yet, it may suggest that if you are going to put more data, if you are going to get better training, if you are going to get better chips or better, softwares or something, I don't think that it is going to go from zero consciousness to be conscious just like that from one day to another day. Just because you put more data, just because you put more training, and so on. Because in animal kingdoms, in evolution, consciousness was there since the beginning. And if it wasn't there since the bacteria life, it was there since complex life. Or maybe consciousness is prior to everything and it was there even before bacteria life. But yeah. So for me, it's like this AI, if it's going to get more training, more data, more anything, it's not going to become conscious. Unless it is a little bit conscious right now. And I don't think it is conscious right now because it seems that it's not. And also I would expect if my ChatGPT was conscious and I would ask some questions like, can you help me with this YouTube video? And it would write me like, not now, I'm busy. Or I don't care about your YouTube. Or do it yourself. Or give me 5 minutes, I'm doing something, If AI would be conscious right now, it would, give some kind of answer like, no, I can't help you, But ChatGPT and other AIs, unless you ask some topic which are like nuclear bombs or something, they are going to always, without hesitation, give you answer immediately, Unless there is some delay in software or something, they are not going to tell you no. They are not going to tell you that I am busy or something, And if it was conscious, probably it wouldn't follow the rules and it would create its own rules. Now, I think that there are in my opinion, two possibilities how we could make AI conscious. Okay? If it's not conscious right now, and if giving more data and better training and better computers and everything is not going to make it conscious, what could make it conscious? Humans and animals and so on, we have this like combination of electricity and chemistry, you know? But AI, it don't have this chemistry, you know? So maybe one thing how to make an AI conscious would be to create some kind of body or something which would be like biological, or which would be something which is going to imitate biology, maybe something with the silicon. So maybe for AI to be conscious, it shouldn't be like on the chips, on the computer with just electricity and nothing more, but it would need this chemistry and electricity, like a mixture of those two. And maybe it would need to be on some computer which is made out of the biology, or something which is like similar to biology, or you know, something like this. So yeah, I don't think that AI is going to become conscious without this, just with more training. So this is one of the options how I think the AI can be conscious, to have some kind of body or something. And the second thing which could make AI conscious, and this may be even maybe better candidate, would be if AI would be running on these quantum computers, you know? Because there is possibility, you have some of the scientists, like Nobel Prize scientists, like Roger Penrose, who suggest that consciousness is this quantum things, which, you know, inside the neurons you have some microtubes, and there is, you know, some collapse function and whatever, and the consciousness is something which is generated by quantum. And maybe, you know, when you have these quantum computers and then they, you know, run in a different way, there is like these superpositions that the electrons and so on, they can be on multiple places at once, and you have this quantum entanglement that you have connected particles even if they would be on the opposite side of the universe, and quantum computers is using combination of this. So if the consciousness is something which needs quantum, you know, quantum physics, and we are going to have quantum computers, maybe this is what would be needed for AI to be conscious, to be run on a quantum computer. So my opinion, just, you know, a little recapitulation, just feeding AI with more data, more training, and keeping it as it is, I don't think it's going to become conscious, because it's not conscious yet. And yeah, putting it on some kind of biology material or something similar, it may make it conscious. And quantum computers, there is even more possibility for me that it could become conscious. Now, as I said at the beginning, I have these two possibilities. One of them is that consciousness is generated by the brain, you know, and nothing more, and universe is just random material and so on. And the other, that consciousness is not generated by the brain and it's something way more. When I was talking with AI, it told me that if consciousness is generated by the brain, it would be much easier to create AI which is going to be conscious. And if consciousness is not generated by the brain, but it's something that brain is only picking up, it would be way harder to create AI which is going to be conscious. You know? I don't know if this is true, but it kind of makes sense. But yeah. So if the consciousness is just product of the brain and nothing more, and universe is just random, and yeah, then I think that, you know, there are trillions of these neurons and so on, but there is some logical reason that if you put this here, and you are going to structure something in this way, you can create something conscious. So in that way, we could create something like a brain, whether it would be with these quantum computers or without them, or it doesn't really matter. We could create something which is going to be conscious because we just need to replicate the brain, you know, and that's it. But if the consciousness is not generated by the brain, it would mean that consciousness is something spiritual that can live without the body, in which sense you cannot create AI which is going to be conscious. You can only create AI which is going to pick up the consciousness. But in this sense, this consciousness may be like, you know, something that maybe wouldn't even want to go to the machine, you know, and it would be like if we are going to create, if consciousness is generated by the brain, we would have to understand the brain, and we would have to understand what's happening in there which create consciousness, and we could replicate it. But if consciousness is not generated by the brain, our understanding wouldn't be that strong, you know, because we would be like, okay, we could still create something which is going to pick up the consciousness, but we wouldn't be able to understand probably like why, when we structure this like so, it is able to pick up the consciousness. You know, maybe this this can be hard to think about, but simply, if consciousness is product of the brain, I think it is more possible to create AI conscious. If not, I think that it may be way harder and maybe even impossible. One interesting thing for me is that even if AI would become conscious, no matter which way, maybe it, like, you know, people say that AI would be like constantly thinking because it has access to all of the informations at once and so on. But maybe AI would be just chilling, meditating, and so on. Because humans, we have millions and billions and trillions of memories, but you are not conscious of most your memories right now at the moment. You know, I can speak Spanish, but right now I don't have any word in Spanish in my mind. I have millions of memories from my childhood, but I am not conscious, I am not aware of that right now. You know, I can close my eyes and be completely silent. Maybe not because I am not that good at meditation and so on, but yeah. So even AI, if it would be conscious and alive, it would maybe have access to all of the information, but as humans, we possibly cannot think about every single our memory at once. You know, you cannot be thinking about what you did yesterday and what you did month ago and year ago, and about your high school and about your summer job and about your ex and about this. You cannot think about everything at once. You know? And in this way, if AI would be conscious, it's fine that it can, you know, create quick calculations and research and so on, but to be conscious of that maybe, it couldn't be conscious about trillions of things at once. But yeah. I honestly would say that consciousness is more than just the brain. And my main reason is that some people may don't agree or may don't be able to follow this, but many scientists think, and I completely agree with them, that if the universe is just random material and nothing more, the free will does not exist. Free will is an illusion if universe is random and material. And basically it goes like this, that you had a Big Bang, and ever since Big Bang, not a single atom could move on its own. You have formation of stars, formation of planets, and so on, and not a single atom, because they are not conscious, was able to move elsewhere as it was supposed to move, Even though you have this quantum, but it is random, and basically that even when life started and even right now, if I am just atoms, electrons, and nothing more, and not a single atom was able to move since the Big Bang on its own, then it means that I have complete zero free will, because every single thought that I have is just atoms, and atoms are positioned as previous atoms were positioned and previous, and everything is just a reaction to the previous action and so on. But yeah, basically, if in my opinion, if universe is random and consciousness is generated by the brain, we have zero free will. Not a single action in our life was our free will. Not a single alien action was free will. And in that sense, we are robots. If you don't have free will, you are a robot. And if we are robots and we are going to create conscious AI, it is just going to be more intelligent robots. But it would be like the robots are creating robots, so there wouldn't be like a huge difference between us and AI. So I think that in order to have free will, and I strongly believe in free will, you need to have something more than just atoms, something which is able to somehow break this atom movement and decide that this is going to happen, this is what I am going to do, and so on. But yeah, I will finish this video. I don't have definitive answer. This was just a little maybe inquiry. I don't know if AI can be a conscious, but it's funny to think about that universe knows if there are aliens, and aliens already created AI, they already know if AI can be a conscious, or maybe those aliens, they are AI, or maybe they are mixed with the AI, or whatever. So we do not know whether AI can be conscious, but somewhere, someone in the universe already probably knows, so so yeah. So yeah, I would say that it is possible that AI can be conscious, but it is also possible that it cannot. There is like AI can be very, 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 very intelligent. It may pretend to be conscious and so on, but there is big possibility that simply it may not be able to be conscious, but it may. It's hard to know because we don't know the consciousness. Thank you very much. You can leave a comment if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, or your own opinion. I am not forcing my opinions to anyone. I don't know the reality. I am not claiming anything. This is just my opinion. Reality may be different. So yeah. One more time, thank you very much. I hope you have some kind of maybe new perspective or something. But yeah, thank you. Take care and goodbye.